Hello, this is an example Livestream backpack. It's a backpack designed to allow you to live stream essentially all of your daily activities. This is basically the same configuration that I used when I live streamed for 365 days straight. And in this video, we're going to talk about how you can make this configuration. These are all the electronic components that you need to make this example Livestream backpack. Right here, we have two 50,000 milliamp hour batteries. Then we have a Nighthawk modem over there with a USB-C to USB charging cable. Same thing over here. That's a LiveU Solo portable signal bonding video encoder. Over here we have a USB modem and some connectors to attach that to the LiveU Solo. Same thing over here, another USB modem and more connectors. Up here we have a Sony FDR-X3000 action camera. It's the live streaming camera, and then we have a charging cable for that camera, and then a micro HDMI to HDMI, and then a little adapter just so it goes in the side of this thing. And we're going to configure all this stuff together into a live streaming backpack, or a live stream backpack. That's the backpack right there, and then that is a shoulder mount for the camera, and that is a grate, a grill grate, but it's used to attach the components to, like to attach the LiveU and the modems, just to have kind of a central thing to attach everything to, so that's not, just to keep everything organized and stable in the backpack. Security of the configuration is very important to keep all the connection points protected and things like that. Then to put this stuff together, we're going to use duct tape today, just a little bit. And if you have the chance, use gaffer's tape if you can. Gaffer's tape is better than duct tape for applications like this. It leaves less residue. It's very sticky. It lasts a long time. It's pretty good quality stuff, the gaffer's tape. But duct tape is fine as well. Rubber bands, and this is just to cut the rubber bands. That's a knife. So we're going to put all this stuff together. So everything is configured now. All the electronics you saw there are spread out. Most of them are on this grate, and they are attached with rubber bands that are, some of them are just wrapped around the grate, and some of them are cut and then tied so that you could tie them onto any portion of the grate. And that's to make all the components easily removable and accessible, and to prevent like residue from tape if the components get hot. But sometimes you need to change the batteries on things like this, or just remove a component and switch it out. So it's good to be able to take it in and out and put it back in the configuration. Let's talk about what's going on here. So we have our batteries. These are the power sources. We'll follow these lines. This one is going to the LiveU Solo unit, the encoder. And usually when live streaming, this encoder uses a lot of power. So one battery is like probably the right amount to run that for a full day. And then the other battery we have running, you can see we have two cables, and each of them are connected to one of the Nighthawk M1 modems. So it's powering both of those, and then we also have it powering the action camera. And then if we follow this other cable, the micro HDMI, then we'll see that that is connected to the encoder here, and it has this little elbow bracket or elbow adapter that reduces the amount of stress on the cable. So if it was just in here like this, depending on your configuration, that can be fine. But if you have any pull in this direction, then you're shaking the cable a bit, and you can reduce that a little bit, I think, with the elbow bracket. The main point is the elbow brackets can be useful for some configurations. As you can see, we have some elbow brackets here. These, and keep in mind, all this like more granular configuration stuff, you will figure this out. And once you get hands-on and get some experience live streaming or just live streaming, all this will make sense. And this, you'll innately know where to put things, and as you configure them yourself, you'll get a feel for it. It looks complicated like this, I promise it's easier. It looked complicated to me just doing it again today, and I've live streamed for over a year straight before. But yeah, as soon as you just get your hands on and start configuring things, it'll make sense. So yeah, we have the USB modems. They're connected with a little extension adapter elbow thing, and then connected here, and then same thing here. And these just crisscross across the front of the LiveU because it's just a good place for those cables to go. Then we have an Ethernet cable that's going just around because it's a long cable to take up some of that slack, and then into the LiveU here. And that is all the connections. And now that you see the organs of the Lifestream example backpack, of the example Lifestream backpack, you've seen them separated. Now you see them working as an organism, kind of in their skeletal form, and then we're going to put them into the backpack now and show you what the actual Lifestream example Lifestream backpack looks like. Okay, so this Lifestream backpack example is it's just about ready. So let's take a look at what's going on. This grate here with all the components, this goes in sort of an outside compartment on the bag. It clips into place, and then it stays there. And the reason that this grate is being used and that all these components are on the outside of the bag and things like that is ventilation. It's really important for components, especially these Nighthawk modems, and then LiveUs as well, especially as they get older. They have a tendency to overheat if they're exposed to, sort of stuffy and hot conditions and direct sunlight and that sort of thing. So it's good to give them as much ventilation as possible. And I found that this grate does a great job of giving them ventilation on the bottom side, and then having them configured on the outside of the mobile live streaming rig, Lifestream backpack example, that just gives them like more ventilation. They're totally exposed, so if you have any wind at all or just ambient room temperature, they're able to sink their heat into the air, and that cools them down. And the same thing for the LiveU somewhat. It gets good airflow in there. So this is a configuration that gives your components maximum ventilation, and you sacrifice a little bit of the subtlety for that. Obviously, you have some stuff coming out, and we'll take a look at this as it's being worn later. But let's go through the details of what happened here. Essentially, we just put the grate in this spot, and then we fed cables through a hole that is burned in the backpack. It's a good idea if you have a polyester backpack or something to burn the holes, because it melts the edges, and so it prevents fraying and that sort of thing. And then, yeah, almost everything. Well, let's see. We have the modem chargers, and then the LiveU charger, and the HDMI cord are all fed through there. And then everything else is just attached on here. We'll take a look inside the backpack. You can see those cables coming through, and everything is plugged in just the way that you saw outside the backpack. It looks a little more jumbled when it's inside, obviously. But we have the LiveU is plugged into this battery, and then everything else, the other three components, are plugged into here. And as you can see, I added tape to to one of these USBs here as well. That is the USB that charges this camera, because that's the most important, or maybe arguably the most important element to keep charged, because when this dies, obviously your stream cuts off. And this has a shorter battery life than your LiveU. So if your batteries die, or if your components are unplugged, the first thing to die is that camera, and you'll hear the beep when it dies, and you'll know, okay, the stream's off. And then you'll have like 15 minutes of battery left in this, probably when that one dies. So ideally you want to be carrying a spare battery in your thing here, so you can pop the spare in, and then you'll have like 15 minutes to get somewhere where you can charge this if your batteries are dead, or just plug your batteries back in. But that's all sort of beyond the scope of this video, and that's really self-explanatory stuff that if you start live streaming will make sense to you immediately, and it will also vary depending on your components. Anyway, that's the configuration there. So it's fed through one hole here, and then all the wires that go to the camera, they come out from a hole that already exists in this backpack here, and they go through a strap that also already exists, and it's on that one arm. And then I've taped the cables just to keep them a little more neat up here. And then the cables go to the camera, and the camera is attached with a shoulder strap. And I want to emphasize that this backpack, the Dakine Heli backpack 12 liter, is like the ultimate live streaming backpack. If you have a similar configuration to what I have here, which is like pretty much the best live streaming configuration you can have in 2021. That may change as components come out, but yeah, this backpack is great. It's so durable. I mean, I've used this for several years every day, and it's still hanging in there. And it just has a lot of kind of funky features that just happen to be perfect for holding live streaming equipment. So yeah, we'll get this thing running and show you what it looks like in use, sort of. Okay, so the Lifestream backpack example, the example Lifestream backpack is on right now. It's on me, as you can see. And the form factor is tight. This is another thing about the Dakine Heli backpack that makes it great, is it's a tight fit to your back, because it's meant for like action sports and stuff. Anyway, this is what it looks like from the front. This is what it looks like from the back. And then we'll give you an example of what the streaming footage could look like. So you just go about your normal life, and you can do anything. I mean, you can jump up and down, move around, and this stuff, the backpack is durable, and as long as you make everything secure in their connections, then it will hold together and function, and you can live stream like literally almost anything. If you were able to figure out a way to do it underwater, then you'd probably be able to live stream everything. But yeah, this backpack is a truly versatile approach to mobile live streaming rig, and it makes live streaming feasible in the 21st century. The invention of the LiveU Solo, or like the development of that, the innovation, that's kind of like the key thing. And then the modems, critical. This camera itself is like ridiculously durable. I mean, this one has been around for years, and it's just undergone an insane amount of abuse, and it just works. All that equipment that is in this configuration, it just works, and that's critical. That's what you want in live streaming equipment. You want durability, reliability, quality. Yeah. So if you want more information about this configuration, or about live streaming in general, live streaming being live streaming one's life, then there's some links in the description that will help you out. I just published a book. It looks like this, but this is a proof, and the cover's slightly different. But yeah, it's all about live streaming one's life, live streaming. They sound really similar. And if you have questions specific to this configuration, then you can post them in the comments, and eventually, maybe someday, I should be able to get to them. I'm taking a break from technology after I post this video, but I eventually, hopefully, will be able to get to them. Yeah, and I hope that those resources are helpful for you, and that this example live stream backpack answers some of your questions, and maybe inspires you to consider doing something like this if you feel that appeal. Live streaming is a really unique thing to do. It gives you an experience that is beyond what you are able to do as a typical human being, because it provides like ironclad, concrete archives of your life, and especially like authentic portrayals of your life. Because if you have a camera on your shoulder and you're live streaming what you're doing and you're going about your life, eventually things will just become normal, and then you're just live streaming your life, or essentially live streaming your life. You're getting as close as you physically can to capturing your actual existence, and that is a unique experience, both for an audience to consume and for a person to do and then have access to later if you save those streams. Yep, that's the end of this spiel. Again, if you want more information about live streaming, then check out that book in the description. Comment if you have any more information to add to the conversation as well, like new technology and advice and things like that from your own live streaming or live streaming experience. Yeah, hope that this was helpful. This is a video I've wanted to make for a super long time and was just waiting for the right time to make it. And I hope that this was the right time.